This is With an Ohio Bias, a podcast for real fans with D and Jake. You can find our podcast in the Google Play Store for Android users, on iTunes for Apple users, and on the Stitcher app, which is available on all platforms for both tablets and phones, and also on Apple AirPlay within cars. Please rate and review us on those platforms. Also, give us a like on Facebook, and please follow us at With an Ohio Bias on Twitter. You can always listen to any of our podcasts at WithAnOhioBias.com as well. A lot of people got laid off at ESPN. We're going to go through some of the names, but let's be honest, the biggest one for Buckeye Nation fans, and they are taking a victory lap on this one. It took a little while to come out, but Mark May is finally done at ESPN. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't wish anybody to have to lose their job, but if someone has to lose their job, there's no better candidate in my mind than Mark May. It's a brutal business, and it is what it is. And you lost some really good people, too, like Jay Crawford and Jason Stark and Ed Werder. And, I mean, the list goes on and on.
Well, they cut it that hockey division.
And it looks like they're going to let John Buccigross's contract run out in July. He could be on his way out the door as well. Hopefully he does make it to studio host over to NBC. That'd be great.
Yeah, you mentioned Jay Crawford, man. I got to just – nobody has embodied what it really means to be a sports fan and a man more than he did at his time at ESPN. And I know he's going to land somewhere very well, land somewhere great, because the guy, beyond the fact that he reps Cleveland and our sports teams better than anybody really, saying on TV. I mean, and not just being a homer, but he shows that passion of why we like that our fandom is so important. All the moments that we got to share with him, whether it was, his son, the passing of his father, and, of course, the Indians in the World Series, and then, of course, seeing him celebrate the championship and just being there for us, man, that ESPN doesn't know what they're really doing. I think they're really good at the heart, and him along with some of the other people that you mentioned, they really got at the heart of what they really had there. And a lot of these people that they have at ESPN right now are using catchphrases and trying to do the things that the people that we loved when ESPN first started out, when there wasn't a lot of eyes on there. But if you think about Overman and, Craig Kilborn and Dan Patrick back in the day, those guys were just being naturally funny, but they had phrases that they used when they were talking to each other. They really didn't think anybody was watching those late night, when ESPN went to 24 hours, I don't think they thought anybody was watching at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you could get away with a little bit of the phrasing and things like that to have fun. Now it seems real forced. It's not organic, and I think that has a lot to do with it. And there's one other point I'm going to get to, but I know that's, a big part of it to me. While I think these layoffs definitely suck, I think ESPN is really losing the true heart and soul of what they had going there.
I agree. And, we talk about Jay Crawford and being a great representative for Ohio and a sportscaster. I have no doubt with you. I think he'll land on his feet. He reminds me of Chris Rose a lot, another Ohio guy in that regard. Just both class professionals. They have a good way about them and present the news and still are able to keep their fandom without being as obnoxious as Mike Greenberg. So
exactly.
I guess that's a bonus there.
Or Bill Simmons, you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. To me, the real problem here is the Disney Corporation and what they've done with ESPN. And you were going to lead into how they've tried to, I think, just change the whole structure of ESPN. But, to me, it's about these bad contracts. You look at their ESPN NFL contract. CBS pays $3.73 billion, NBC $3.6, Fox $4.2. ESPN's paying $8.8 billion for a crap Monday Night Football game, no Super Bowl, and one playoff game. So maybe we need to start taking a look at the execs in the suits in ESPN, and maybe not the soldiers so much.
Pushback just on everybody complaining about the politics that ESPN, everybody feels that they've went over the top liberal with letting their commentators really go in on stories and things like that. I just want to caution everybody on two things. One, if you don't realize sports and politics are intertwined and will forever be in all of time, then I don't know where you've been living at. I mean, you gotta really expose yourself to some other things. Two, you can turn things off and you can choose what you want to view. So, you know what I mean? Like, if there's a program that you don't like and you feel like it's something that you turn it off. I feel like people feel like everything with, the media and the way things are right now, we have more sources for news, stats, sports, like reporting. Sports results, scores, and just because ESPN is the, mothership as they were known as, you don't have to go there. I see some people saying they're true to other things, but, turn it on when you want to, turn it off when you want to. You don't, like a lot of times I'm watching ESPN on mute. Everybody does that at the gym, so I don't even understand like that part of it. There's a huge backlash right there, and that to me is I just feel bad for people that are consuming themselves with that kind of emotion about it. So that's just my take on that.
I'm with you on all that stuff. I think it's just like it's a total failure from the top on down to the production of these shows right now. Even the 6 o'clock Sports Center, it's the opinion part of it. I mean, they try to just jam 2 shows into one, and at 6 o'clock, I want hard news. I want to be able to go to correspondents like Jason Stark and Ed Werder to tell me what's going on. And, it's just, I don't know. It's just not good product at the moment.
They did go over the top with the argumentative style of presentation. So I think they get back to, first of all, stop trolling Cleveland. That's one thing you can do. I think that'll improve your viewership. But the other thing is, during the NFL draft, they had the great Sasquatch, Jack Link's, guy behind one of the draftees at his draft parties, and everybody's going crazy. But here's the real reason that ESPN is out of touch, even with its own properties. And this comes to, Star Wars Days is coming up here in May. May the 4th be with you. The guy on ESPN called Sasquatch Chewbacca. And I just don't know how you can make that kind of mistake, especially when Disney owns ESPN and Star Wars and that whole tie-in. I mean, that just is the last thing. But for all the Star Wars fans out there, definitely enjoy Star Wars Day. You can hear more of things like this on With an Ohio Bias. Be checking us out, WithAnOhioBias.com. You can find us on iTunes, the full podcast on iTunes. Just search With an Ohio Bias. Give us a like, subscribe, and write us a review even. And we would really appreciate that. Thanks for listening, and we will talk at you next time.